Los Angeles fire victims return back to their homes, but they're in for a rude awakening, courtesy of California's crazy government bureaucrats. Plus, has anyone asked the question, did homeless help start the fires? Coming up, we have some data that will shock you. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative representing District 75 in the state assembly. We're still sorting through the wreckage, the carnage of California's devastating fires. Thankfully, this weekend did bring a lot of rain and relief to the affected areas. But we cannot just simply move on to another topic. The fire victims deserve our continued attention and our continued commitment to helping them rebuild and preventing a tragedy like this from ever happening again to others. And of course, that's really important for all of us. The fires have exposed yet again the negligence and the failures, the gross mismanagement of California's state and local politicians. And I welcome President Trump coming to California and imposing strict conditions in exchange for fire relief funding from the federal government because, number one, we need adult supervision. These politicians won't clean up their mess, and the disasters will continue to happen. But more importantly, it throws good money after bad for us to, as federal taxpayers, be paying in to a fund to clean up disasters if we don't actually reduce the risk of disasters by changing government policy. That is why whenever the liberal media in California and Democrat politicians condemn President Trump for demanding conditions, we need to say, you brought it on yourselves. And these conditions are absolutely necessary to make sure that this never happens at this level, at this scale, ever again, because of failure of government policies. And look, I've covered it in other shows, covered it on our letters that we've sent both President Trump asking for an independent federal fire investigation, but also letters to the congressional leaders urging them to stand their ground and impose conditions. A good example of why we need to shake up the politicians out here is that as these fire victims are now slowly being authorized to come back into their communities, to their homes, to start to clean up, they're getting smacked by a variety of government regulations. Last week, I brought you the story of California's Department of Public Health, the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, issuing an order saying that you're not allowed to remove fire debris from your homes. You're not allowed to start cleaning up and removing the debris until the debris can be inspected by federal, state, and local government agencies. And of course, President Trump on Friday called out LA Mayor Karen Bass on the carpet for the delays in letting people get back to their homes and the delays in timetables for getting people out, inspectors out to help them set up the debris clearing. Thus far, Karen Bass has talked a bunch of rhetoric, but she's not followed through. And the latest is this. I mean, this is just an indicator of just the insanity that these fire victims are going to get slapped by if they're lucky enough to be able to come back to their homes this week. John Phillips, my good friend at KABC Radio, tweets, quote, "If the mayor lets you go home, fake Dr. Barbara Ferrer, LA Public Health, says you can't use a power air blower to clean up debris. Instead, you must use," and this is quoting from the regulation, quote, "a gentle sweeping followed by wet mopping or HEPA vacuums." Where are you going to plug in your HEPA vacuum? I mean, seriously, this is absolutely insane. But this is the sort of nonsense, insanity, and nightmarish regulations that fire victims in LA are going to be greeted by because of the ineptitude and negligence and incompetence of LA politicians. By the way, Dr. Ferrer, the same asshat who shut down schools, shut down the economy, went after people, imposed mandates, fired people if they didn't get the shot. She should be in jail. She certainly should not be continuing in her position, but here she is rearing her ugly head and imposing more carnage on California citizens. The fact that she's even allowed to do this crap and has even any role in this after all the damage she's done, no. Rick Grenell tweeted, the National Guard and the police are still not allowing people into their homes. Why? And that's as of just 2 days ago. We've since seen that people are being allowed back in slowly. But it takes lighting a fire under their rear end, like what my good friend Rick Grenell is doing, who is a special envoy to President Trump, and he was seated at Trump's side, closest to him, during those discussions when Trump came to California. I want to raise this other issue, which has not gotten any attention in the liberal media. They want to deny it. They want to suppress it because they know it's yet another contributing factor to the disaster. I've already said that some of the conditions we should place on California politicians is, number one, we should require them to change vegetation management so homeowners can clear defensible space without regulation. No coastal commission regulations, no CARB regulations on controlled burns, no CEQA reviews, fish and wildlife reviews. Let people clear defensible space. If a fire marshal signs off on it, that's all it should take. Second, we need to have water. Make sure that the water is in the reservoirs and in the fire hydrants to combat the fires. Third, we need to properly staff our fire departments. Fourth, we need to make sure that we cut the red tape for rebuilding so that it's not prohibitively expensive. And this other crap that you're seeing about no power air blowers, and instead you have to use a gentle sweeping. I'll give you a gentle sweeping, Ms. Ferrer. Farrar, whatever. She doesn't even deserve a proper pronunciation of her name. She's caused so much damage. So the question becomes, another criteria that should be imposed is that California politicians should be required to remove homeless from canyons. All of these spaces, open spaces with all the shrubs where homeless people are lighting fires. And this is well documented, by the way. The data is overwhelming. Here is Fox News. LA fires, tragic reminder that ignoring homeless problem can't continue. According to LA Fire Department data, there were 13,909 fires in the LA region last year linked to homelessness. That is double 2020. 13,909 in just LA County. One county, 14,000 fires, double from 2020. And you wonder why we're having fires? It ain't climate change, you asshats. It is failure of government policy, letting homeless people, and of course, because of our open border migrant camps, with all of these open fires in the middle of a very dangerous environment with a lot of shrubs, a lot of brush, a lot of dead trees. And you wonder. By the way, these fires are 365 days a year, so it diverts our 911 resources. Police and fire have to go out and put these fires down. Here is a report in 2024 in LA. Rising number of homeless fires threatens LA neighborhoods. NBC investigates. But that's in May of 2024. We couldn't find any coverage of this topic in LA media. I wonder why, since the fires broke out. Covering up for someone? Here's KGET. This is Bakersfield. 2024 sees rise in fires in Bakersfield, suspected to be started by, ta-da, homeless people. The media is not covering this question. How many of the fires were started by homeless people? Remember that big blaze underneath an LA freeway about a year ago? Gavin Newsom promised a big investigation. And as I told you at the time, it was set by homeless people. And I told you at the time, his investigation, the governor's investigation, would be like all the other phony investigations, just for pomp and circumstance, just for TV cameras, but we would never actually get a report. And we never did. No change in policy, no accountability. Because they don't want to admit their homeless crisis that they've created that is uniquely bad in California, not in any other state, because they coddle homeless. They don't require treatment for mental health or substance abuse. That crisis is having major impacts on all of our lives. And it gives you a pretty damn good public health emergency declaration basis to go in and say, no, you can't live in a canyon. There's a public health necessity that allows us the power to boot you and forcibly remove you, because you can't be in this canyon. It is a risk to public safety. Instead, what is the media asking? How LA fires could exacerbate California's homelessness crisis. The liberal Cal Matters blog doing its best to shimmy and dance around the real topic, instead of asking, I wonder how many of these fires got started by homeless people. I wonder how many fires are started each year by homeless people. Not doing that. Instead, it's the fires will make more homeless people. No, it's your failed policies of Gavin Newsom and liberal Democrats that creates more homelessness in the state of California. We're the only state in the country with Housing First as a mandated program that says if you require homeless people to get to the root cause and receive treatment for substance abuse and mental health, if you're a program that does that, you don't get any government funding. So they're choking out the funding of the programs that work. Liberal politicians that say that they don't have the power to force homeless people out of canyons and remove them. Not true. Supreme Court just clarified that you do have the ability to clean out homeless camps. What are you waiting for? The reason why they're doing their Housing First program is that it enriches their developer friends. Government subsidized housing projects. That's where all your $24 billion in homeless funding has gone in the last 5 years. We have literally pissed away the money, wasted this money incredibly. And so the liberal media doesn't want us to ask questions about, is this a contributing factor? No, they want you to think it's climate change. No, probably tenfold more related to homelessness than climate change. And then when there's even any scintilla of issue raised that it could be homelessness for these LA fires, the media poo-poos it, negates it, rejects it. LA Times, as his headline, Edison Power Company says encampment found near area where Eaton fire started. Critics doubt it sparked the fire. Oh, you had to slide that in there real quick, right? Again, they were kind of forced to cover this. This was the only place we could find it in the LA media market, by the way. But they immediately in the headline throw water on it. I wonder where they got the water, because it certainly wasn't the Pacific Palisades Reservoir. Look, at Reform California, we're fighting to not only expose the truth behind the failures of government policy in California, which the liberal media will not do, through shows like this every day at 5 o'clock. But we are fighting to boot bad politicians out of office. Go to reformcalifornia.org, sign up and join our movement. At the bottom of that page, put in your first name, your last name, your email, your zip code, and phone. We can keep you up to date on the progress of our ballot measure campaigns, including our voter ID initiative that we're rolling out, as well as the candidates we're recruiting, training, supporting, and endorsing for office, everything from school board all the way up to Congress. We also need your help. We can't support candidates or wage ballot measure campaigns without your support. So while you're on that website, reformcalifornia.org, please chip in a contribution. Share this video, subscribe to this channel so we can keep you informed. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California and a California State Representative, representing District 75 in the State Assembly. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.